Hello, my name is Paul Chinohe, and today I'm going to be talking about how to change your oil and your oil filter on your car. So the one reason that you want to be able to do this is you'll have a better understanding of your car. The most important thing is understanding where exactly all of the parts of your car are, and then if you have any problems within the engine bay, you'll be able to fix it that way. So the one thing that's a positive is you'll be able to save money, anywhere from $25 to $75. The time it takes to actually fix the car, first time will be around 1 hour, and then from then on it should be about 30 minutes approximately. And the tools that you'll need a wrench. You'll also need what's called an oil filter wrench, a monkey wrench, catch pan, a funnel, and latex gloves, and a flathead screwdriver. You will also need a jack stand, and then the materials that you'll need for this will be oil, around 4 to 5 quarts, a Ziploc bag, and then an oil filter. So the first thing you'll need to do is you'll need to consult your manual to be able to understand which oils that you'll have to use for the car, and also approximately how much the car can take as far as the quantity. So the car that we're going to be working on is the 2001 Volkswagen Passat. So it has approximately a maximum amount of 4.5 quarts or 4 liters. So the first thing you'll need to do is you'll need to park your car on a flat surface. This way you can get underneath and properly maintain the car. So put your car into park with the handbrake on, and then you want to run the engine for a few minutes, approximately 1 to 2 minutes. This way you can warm up the engine and also warm up the oil as you want it to come out smoothly. So you don't want the engine to be too hot, because that will possibly be a danger to yourself, and also it's not a good idea. So the first thing you'll want to do is you'll want to remove the oil cap, since this will help to allow the flow of oil to come out smoothly as well. And so what you'll want to do is you'll want to check underneath the side of your car to see where the oil filter is located. Most of the time it's going to be located on the right hand side. As far as the Passat goes, it's going to be right next to the engine block, underneath the oil coolant reservoir. Okay, so the first thing you'll want to do is you want to locate the oil plug, which will be underneath the car. It's going to be towards the center of the engine bay underneath, and it will be a large lug nut. So what you want to do is you want to put your catch pan underneath, and then you'll want to loosen the bolt with the wrench. This is the only thing that you'll be using the wrench for. And so once you do that, you'll be able to essentially untighten it with your hand. And so at this point you'll want to recheck the underside of the engine to make sure that it's not too hot, because once you take that lug nut off, the oil will be able to flow out really quickly, so you want to avoid burning yourself. So hand loosen that all the way out, and then allow the oil to drain out into the catch pan. Okay. So the next thing you want to do is you want to be able to clean off the bolt and set it aside for later, because you'll be using that once you put everything back together. So the next part will be to go up onto the top of the car, onto the top of the engine bay, and then you will look for the oil filter. Now the important thing to do at this point is to take a Ziploc bag, put it over the oil filter, and then use your oil wrench to be able to loosen it. And so once you loosen it to a point, you'll be able to take it off by hand. And the reason why you put the Ziploc bag over there is because a lot of oil tends to seep into the oil filter at that point. And then what you want to do is you want to be able to take it off without spilling a whole bunch of oil. And this will save you a lot of time and effort on cleanup. Okay. So at this point, what you want to do is you want to remove all the other excess oil that you've collected afterwards. You'll want to let it run for about maybe 10 to 15 minutes so that it completely drains. And then you want to stow it away. Usually we have a container or some kind of like water jug, and you want to put that in there so that it's secure for when you dispose of it. So the next thing you want to do is you want to replace the oil filter. You can do this by hand and hand tighten it, as it's relatively easy to do. But what you want to make sure you do is the oil filter, and then there's a screw. You want to make sure that it's completely on properly, because you could essentially shred the bolt or destroy the oil filter, and then you'll have to get a new one. Okay, so at this point what you want to do is you'll tighten that on, keep that there. You'll want to reattach the bolt on the bottom of the port where the oil is coming out, and then you want to insert about 1.25 of the new oil that you have. And then what you want to do is you want to put on the oil fill cap and then run your car for about 30 seconds. This will give you a gauge of how much has actually gone into the engine and if it's working properly. And you'll also be able to check for leaks as well. And so at this point, once the car has cooled down, then you'll be able to check the dipstick, check how much you have as far as where it is in that gauge. So it should be between a 1 quart and then a full. So if it's anywhere in that level, you want to fill it up to about what it's expected to have, which would be 4 quarts. And so at this point, what you want to do is just replace everything, put everything on, secure everything, and then you want to turn on the engine again and then check for any leaks underneath or on top of the engine. Okay. And so at this point, you should be almost done. And then the effective thing that you want to do is just make sure that everything is clean, everything is secured. And then once you are done, you'll take the oil and you will dispose of it at an auto parts store or a recycling center. And this is effectively how you would dispose of that. And that's the most ethical thing to do as well. So with that, you should be basically finished. And thank you very much.